This feels a little bit like cheating. This actually makes you a very good and safe driver on a fun road like this. Now, whether you're a Tesla fan or not, or you're indifferent, or you just couldn't care, one thing that's indisputable is that the Tesla Model 3 will take up many, many chapters in future books on automotive history, because it has changed, completely single-handedly changed the automotive industry and where we're going. Whether you like it or not, we're going a certain direction. And if you want to blame a car, you can blame this one if you don't like that. Now, the one I've been spending time in this week, it's the cheapest way into Teslahood. It's a standard range, rear wheel drive. And right now here in mid-2023, Tesla is running these for a little over $40K. I'll throw up all the numbers up there. And if you qualify for all the federal and state tax credits out there, this now becomes like a $30,000 car. Whether it's low or high, that's going to depend on your unique situation. But either way, a car in the 30s, you know, this is now, at least in my opinion, becoming actually a pretty outstanding value. This one is in a midnight silver metallic, basically gray. And Tesla does charge you like a crazy $1,000 for this, for this paint. I think red will run you like $2,000. That's a little bit crazy. But white's free. White's included in the price. But this is equipped for everything. It's really well equipped for your $30,000 in the pseudo luxury sedan category. You got leather-like seats. Both the driver and the passenger front seats are powered. You got lumbar in the driver's seat. You got heated steering wheel. All 5 seating locations are heated. You got that really cool full glass roof. You got powered open and closed trunk, 2 wireless charging pads, pretty decent stereo, and you have one of the best integrated navigation systems out there. And also, this does have an incredible, like one of the best adaptive cruise and lane centering that Tesla has pretty much wrote the book on. But things like no spare tire, you're not going to get an opening sunroof, you get no Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, but pretty decent warranty, 40 or 50,000 miles. And that battery in this specific one is 100,000 mile warranty, and I think that's 8 years or 100K, whichever one of those comes first. I also put up the very healthy performance numbers. Estimates have this at around 270 horsepower and over 300 pound-feet of torque, and boy, it feels like every bit of that and more, because it's instant. And that is to the rear wheels, which is the way it should be. Now you get 272 miles of range. Now this is an LFP battery. That's the one that likes to be charged all the way up to 100%. So if you can charge this thing, you're starting out every day up in the 270s with really good range. And as far as interiors go, well, you either gotta love it or hate it. I'm a minimalist kind of person, so this one really does suit me. If you check out our Mazda 3 long-term videos, one of the reasons we like the Mazda 3 so much is because of that sort of minimalistic style. This definitely ramps it up a notch to a point where a lot of people just don't like it. But for a couple things, first, you have 2 charging pads. Your phones just sit so well right there, and these wireless chargers for your passenger and your driver work really, really well. You get, again, I'm going to go over some things that I really like about this car, and that's that I just like the interior because storage is good. You get this nice deep bin here with trash in it, and it's lit up at night, and you push that. Just exudes quality. 2 cup holders with no real adjustments, and then you get another deep trash bin for me, a coffee cup. But again, these are all lit up, and everything in here feels really, really good. And when we get out on the drive, one thing I'll talk about is just these seats are stupendous. Just sitting in the back seat. Again, the seats are very comfortable. The seat backs are comfortable. The seat bottoms are comfortable. The only thing I will mention is that the seat bottoms are pretty low. So unless you stretch your feet out, you don't get really good thigh support. And if you're a tall person, you're really going to be sitting like on a bench because your thighs are going to be up in the air and not supported. 2 USB-Cs back there, air vents, double pockets, really good materials all over back here. So again, trying to keep that price point high 30s. This hits the mark. This is what I would expect out of that price range, and it does a really good job. Again, you have this complete entire glass ceiling that's become iconic, and we'll talk a little bit about that. There is some cons to that. And all LED lighting in here, so all white LED lighting, adding to the luxury vibe, minimalist luxury vibe that you get in here. Popping into the trunk, again, very short trunk lid in the back, so it's kind of a slot, and it's pretty decent. It kind of narrows down. You can see I got a humongous suitcase in there, camera bag, but plenty of storage. No spare tire, but you get this deep well. There's no gas tank, so that always helps. You can pack a lot of stuff in here, and you know, whether you want this or not, Tesla does give it to you. It gives you a pretty nice auto closing trunk. And again, the steering wheel is really, I love the steering wheel because it's not real big. It's kind of chunky, real good quality feeling leather-like material on there. And there's really no knobs or controls other than the stalks for shifting into gear and in your turn signal and wipes. I'm not going to go into all these controls. There's so many videos on how you adjust your mirrors and what these controls do. And then same thing with this system right here. I actually like it. It's pretty easy to use. Its menus are really well laid out. In just a few minutes with this system, and you'll be very, very comfortable. And you can always scroll down, and you have Tesla's navigation system, which is really, really good and easy to use. Now, a couple little quirks in here, in this interior. One is just the echoing, and I don't know if you can hear that or not, but it sounds like you're sitting in a tuna fish can. Everything echoes in here. You almost feel like something's wrong with your hearing. And the only thing I can think of, it must be this glass and just how this airy cabin is constructed. Now, it really doesn't affect the music too much. Music sounds really good. That's another good thing. Even though this isn't the top stereo that Tesla offers, this one feels really, really nice and premium. Now, if you do want to get into your glove box, you do have to go through this system here to do that. However, if you want to open the trunk or the frunk, it's right here. The glove box should be on this screen right here because these openings are on the screen. So we'll just open the frunk. The other little quirk is that even though the seats are comfortable, you get this little ridge. So when you're driving along and you just want to pull your left foot back and just relax, this little ridge here gets in the way, and I'm sure that's because of the battery pack right there. Very easy to open, and again, you get some more nice storage up here. So very light, easy to open. And you'll see hundreds of videos out there on fit, finish, body gap. I don't really see any on this car that stick out to the point where I would complain about it. So I think the problem with fit and finish is that anybody who does, I think the bad ones make the news more than the majority, which are probably pretty good. I am a big fan of these Michelins that Tesla has outfitted on these. These are Premises. They seem to be ideally suited. They're all season 18-inch 235s, and I think it's the perfect mixture of quiet ride, handling, and really good tread for rain. So in the wet weather this week, they have been fine. All right, so let's take a drive on some beautiful mountain roads and see what this Tesla 3 standard range is all about. Kind of a small mirror, but it's pretty rimless, so it provides just the perfect view without blocking this incredible view that you get out. Tesla really made visibility a priority. Okay, so out here driving the Model 3, some initial impressions with driving the car. As far as ride comfort goes, this is perfectly suited to the sporty power performance of the car. I think the ride is dialed in just perfect. It's very, very comfortable. You kind of feel the sophistication of the suspension doing its thing over bumps. I mean, the one area that to me has been a little, you know, if I had to complain at all about the ride quality, that is over really, really sharp impacts, like expansion strips, really, really crappy potholes, or something where you're going to get a sharp impact into the suspension. It reverberates through the entire cabin, and it actually, the car does not feel like the quality car that it is when it hits these sharp impacts. You've already heard about all the one pedal driving stuff. It is absolutely genius. And it took me, you know, it takes you about a few hours just to kind of get the general gist of it. It took me about 2 days to where I felt comfortable in all driving conditions, whether I'm in a parking lot, out on the highway, on a road like this. Once you get through that curve, it is genius. It really is genius, and it definitely is one of the things that Tesla has an advantage over, I think, over other manufacturers, is just how well they have done the one pedal driving. So we are out here on one of the great roads in this Model 3. We got all the things that you would think you would need when you're driving a road like this. You got rear wheel drive. You have go-kart quick steering. We have a flat body control with all that weight of the battery down low. We got incredible amounts of torque. Did I say rear wheel drive? I think I did. So you got all the ingredients here, and you got a quick shifting transmission. Well, it's infinitely quick because there aren't any gears. So this should be, on a road like this should be the ideal driving experience. And what I will, after driving this car on this road a couple times over the past week, I think what I've come to the conclusion is that this feels a little bit like cheating. This actually makes you a very good and safe driver on a fun road like this. It seems to be like I'm driving the road. Does that make any sense? I'm not driving the car on the road. I'm driving the road. So with this great visibility, with this instant torque to shoot out of turns, and the great handling, you know, moderate speeds here. I'm not like tearing this up. I'm not trying to make these Michelin squeal or anything. I'm noticing the road. I'm noticing the camber of the road. I'm noticing how the turns go. I'm just paying a lot more attention to the road itself than the car. The car's just kind of coming along for the ride. And if you like speed, as I shoot from turn to turn here, it can be a lot of fun, especially if you concentrate just on feeling the grip of the tires. I'm not at all worried about what gear I'm in. I'm not trying to coax an automatic transmission to upshift or downshift for me. I'm definitely not working the clutch. So this is actually can be fun in a different way. Now we are also going uphill. We're going up to about 4,000 feet. And as you can see, Tesla does a good job of tracking how you're doing versus its predicted battery usage. It knows that this is an uphill grade, so as you can see, the battery dives a little bit more down here and then kind of smooths out in the flat areas. And I found it to be a little pessimistic. It seems like I always come in a little bit better, and even with a lead foot. Now the other thing that I'm doing when I do this drive is, now we're talking. See, that's just respecting the drive right there. He got out of my way. I'm usually getting out of other people's way with the cars I bring up here, but this just scoots. But if you like the sensation of speed, you like to rocket out of turns, and you just want to enjoy this scenery around you, this is really hard to beat. But we'll just shoot down to this next turn. One pedal drive. I am going to hit the brakes here. And nobody's behind me. I'm going to hit the brakes pretty hard here. Very firm brake pedal. The brake pedal matches the sporty fun of the car. You can just rock it down to this turn. Going to come in a little hot. Going to hit the brakes here, but not a lot. Let that regenerative one pedal braking take over there. So is this as fun as that Mustang GT I had up here? Check out that video, link. Nobody's ever watched that video, so come on guys, watch my Mustang GT video, because I brought that rear wheel drive 400 and some horsepower car up here and I had a blast. But completely different type of fun. I was really paying so much attention to the car and that amount of power I was getting that I really wasn't enjoying the road like I am now. Freeway driving, this is where the Model 3's ride comfort really comes into play. Just feels like a really premium ride. The other thing you'll notice out here on the highway is this is really quiet. They used really thick glass, and you can tell it just has a premium sort of quietness to it. And the best part of all about this electric vehicle is this. I can pretty much dial up any speed, shoot in and out of traffic at will without having to wait for my transmission to downshift or a turbo to spin up or me to shift the gear. So that's always very nice. A couple other features I should have mentioned earlier was that this has rain sensing wipers, and they're actually pretty smart. They do a really good job. They don't go crazy, and we have automatic high beams. Now, as far as overall comfort, these seats are super comfortable. These are all-day comfort, and how quiet this car is. Again, this echoes drives me nuts. But how quiet this car is out on the highway and the seat comfort, it begs to take road trips. And with that supercharger network by Tesla, I guess you could do that. Now, the one other thing that Tesla is known for is their adaptive cruise control and lane centering steering. I'm just going to enable that right now. So I've just enabled cruise control, and you don't have to set a speed. It knows the speed limit, so it'll try to go as fast as the speed limit or whatever threshold you set. But yeah, it's very natural. It stops, it starts in traffic, very good. It comes to a slowdown very naturally, like it's doing right here. And if I want to enable the steering control, I just hit that again, and you can see the blue lines it's tracking. Now it will steer me also, in addition to tracking the speed in the traffic here. So very good system. Super thumbs up to this. All right, guys, when you take the price, the tax credits, the performance, and the fact that this is a truly fun to drive car, I really think this is really a bargain. Now, of course, you have to factor in whether you can charge this at home or not, because if you can, this can really work. And the range is just fine. I mean, 272 miles would easily work for me, and I know routinely we drive well over 20,000 miles a year. And yeah, I've just been really enjoying. Obviously, the performance is great, but just the visibility and the comfort and quietness of this is really something to be experienced. So if you want to take the EV plunge or just dip your toe, I would have a hard time recommending something else over this Model 3. I mean, Tesla has been doing this longer than anybody else, and they've been doing this Model 3 for a long time. They have the infrastructure, they got the software. Everybody else is still playing catch up. Plus it actually looks good, and it's a fun to drive car. But we want to know what you think. If you are a Tesla owner, an EV devotee, or you're shopping in this 30 to 40K segment and you're curious, we'd love to hear your questions and comments, so leave those below. So thanks for coming along today, and have a great day, morning or evening, wherever you may be.